Yeah.
You are listening to the Foamy Heads podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Rolling. Mitch and Rich are back on the Foamy Heads. Welcome to another episode. Mitch, you've already poured your beer, dude. What's going on over there?
Hey, I wanted to do something during the intro music. So,
all right, fuck it. I'm gonna pour mine too.
Get some of that. Oh, that sounded good from a distance, man.
Yeah, I like it. That sounds. Oh shit, it's starting to pour over.
We got 3 more cans.
Yeah. Yeah, we've bringing in our guests here in just a minute. This is their fault. We're going to be drinking too much beer tonight, and I'm not mad about it. But Mitch, it's good to be back on. Yes, I'm excited. This is a really good time. We've been talking with them, these guys, for on and off for quite some time, but we've known them for quite a while. For longtime listeners, you're definitely going to remember our guest. But we're bringing her back around tonight. And she's got a partner in crime with her, too. So we're really excited. We've got Creature Comforts in the building tonight. We've got Michelle and Asa. They're hanging out all the way down in the Athens, Georgia tap room. So they're quite a ways away. What's going on, guys?
What's up, y'all?
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Super excited.
It's good to be back,
absolutely. Tell us, because we're on video right now, tell us a little bit what's going on behind us. You guys are sitting in the tap room in Athens right now.
So yeah, we are at our first facility named Snow Tire. We named it for the family that owned and operated it since the 50s. It was a Michelin tire factory, so we named it the Snow Tire facility, but it was the original facility that we started off with. We're actually in the cellar room right now that's still being used and still active. Just a little quiet because the tap room, of course, there's a lot of people enjoying our beers right now. So, plus this is kind of a cool little behind the scenes for you guys to get to see a little bit.
I'm digging it. It sounds great too. I'm not picking up on anything like noise-wise in the background.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
We kind of failed on the headphones.
Downtown Athens there's a bunch of places piled on top of each other, so we share walls with other bars. So, but it's all good.
Sweet, and Athens is kind of you guys' bread and butter, but I mean, you guys have started expanding in the area too, and I think this is where we kind of start talking a little bit about you guys' background, right, Mitch? I mean, talking about the whole like coming to Creature Comforts and bringing it to Nashville, because that's where we're based originally, even though you guys are in the Athens tap room there. But you know, Michelle, you had talked about bringing Creature Comforts to the Nashville area, and Asa definitely helping out with the Chattanooga area too. So tell us a little bit about that background.
So yeah, so Creature had just celebrated its 10-year anniversary as a brewery, but around year 9, we felt that it was the appropriate time to look outside of the Georgia market. We were dominating here, and we just were like, what are some other great places that we could try and see about expanding? And Nashville and Tennessee was one of those. So kind of came on board. I believe we started draft only around June time of 2022.
June 2.
Yep. And just stayed draft only, kind of built the hype around. And then about 6-7 months later, helped launch package here. That's about the time that I jumped into joining the team. Draft was already kind of being sold here, but as soon as I saw there was a job posting, I was like, yes, I would love to work for you guys. Been a big fan. So we've now actually officially have just rounded out all of Tennessee. Knoxville came on board around August of 2023. And we just recently, within the past month, launched Memphis. So Memphis did a little bit of draft only, and then they're finally rolling out package there right before Memorial holiday. So, and it's doing actually really well. So we love it. We also went into South Carolina, so we expanded that whole entire state as well. But those are the only states that we're going to stay in right now. Sustainability and freshness is really important to us. And so these are kind of our baby steps to perfect the system and to ensure the quality of the beer is not compromised as we continue to grow. And, who knows? maybe there'll be some more southeastern or worldwide domination coming from us.
Hell yeah.
We got the tasting room in Los Angeles too, and they're distributing, from what I understand, a little bit within the city. But I mean, that's a whole other monster and baby steps. It's just like how this place was before. We could do on a package day like 12 pallets, I think, in a day, 12, 14 pallets. Now at the new facility, which was built after about year 4, I think, they can do 40 something pallets in a day. So that's 2 whole truckloads. So it's definitely grown, and hopefully California can find that too. We kind of had modeled our. I mean, I wasn't sitting in the business meetings, but I always heard the influence was from New Glarus out of Wisconsin, where they're brewing, like, from what I understand, almost 100,000 barrels, which is honestly more than what we brew, of like one brand. And I might be making that up, but from what I understand, Spotted Cow, and it's a bottled saison, like it was such a hit, and they only distributed within Wisconsin. Now they've extended to some other markets, not many from what I understand. But they were only in Wisconsin for a huge part of their like beginning, like for almost maybe over a decade. So we kind of wanted to keep it slow and steady, like Michelle mentioned, for quality's sakes. Like we really care about quality and making sure that the experience is proper. So
Sure. Yeah, I know the sustainability piece is big with Creature Comforts, trying to see, reduce the amount of water that you guys have to spend in order to make a 6-pack of beer, or, and that's one of you guys' missions. It is a little odd to me that you guys are going from like Athens, Georgia, and then launching Memphis and Nashville and like the Southeast region. And then you've got something way over here in LA.
It's a crazy story.
Don't worry. We'll get to that story whenever we discuss another one of these beers, because it will make sense.
Sounds good. That sounds like a great one. Mitch, do we want to jump into the first one?
Yeah.
We've got a crispy boy on tap. We gotta get
our beebs.
So this was one of the original core beers, German Pilsner called Bibo, and it gets its very specific name from a parrot. That was Albert Einstein's pet parrot. It was a gift given to him by someone in the medical school. I honestly can't. I don't know the details other than that he had a pet parrot named Bibo, and Bibo is also Latin for "I drink." So very fitting in a lot of ways.
Nice.
Bibo.
So again, very unusual name, and I got to do a shout out just because this is awesome. Russian River has a great pilsner called Pivo, and we just did a collab with them, and it's called Pivo.
Because of course it is. Why wouldn't
my mind's getting blown right now. I love having people with me. I didn't know this.
More unusual beer names, but
Russia's
I don't know
the river.
Pivo, it's a great beer if you haven't had it.
That's awesome.
Bibo, Pivo, and Bevo?
Yeah.
Pibo, and Vivo. That makes sense. Mitch, I know you're a Pilsner Crispy Boy fan. This one tastes really good to me. I haven't always been a Pilsner guy. I think
it's funny that you just said that, Rich, because when I was listening to our episode, we went on that tangent about how Mitch has been getting you more into the Pilsners. So glad to see that it has grown on you in the 3 years since I last talked to y'all. But so cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Are we still doing the sniff and all that kind of stuff? So
all of it.
We should, but we can dive in too.
I'm excited to drink it.
Yeah,
go in, dig in.
Oh, I love this beer.
Hopefully you shouldn't get any sulfur from the aroma. It should be clean. Pure German. I mean, it's a German Pilsner in the sense that it's got a kiss of hop flavor to it. It's all hot side. It's not dry hopped. And it's all German hops, from what I understand. It's Huelmelin, Sterling, and Saaz. So,
Asa, you're speaking from a
it's got a
brewery
kiss of hops,
background.
but it's different hops than we're used to, especially in the Southeast, with usually like very fruit forward, like hop flavors. You get a whole different volume with this. So.
Yeah.
Well, what's your background? You're kind of speaking a little bit from a brewery standpoint, like you know a little.
Well, luckily the brewery is great about educating. I used to work production, so I started in the tasting room. So I've got a fun story from fanboy to full time, where I was actually coming a lot the first year when they opened up. They would do a thing every Tuesday called Curious Tuesdays, where they would treat Athena on certain fruits or reclaimed rye, the rye amber that I was speaking of before. Like they would put chai tea in it, or it was just something experimental. One of our biggest core values, and I think our motto, is crave curiosity. And so we were pushing the boundaries, I guess, and doing fun things on Tuesday. So I would come all the time. I made friends with a lot of the tasting room staff. Had a friend that worked here. He told the manager I wanted a job. I never told him that. Got an interview set up. Started working here in the tasting room. When they started packaging, I started packaging. They had a packaging team. I eventually joined the snow tire packaging team. And after Tropicalia sales were growing, and all the core beers were, and we needed to upgrade. I'd always heard that they were trying to expand after year 5. After year 3, we started looking, and then there's another facility it's called Southern Mill, also a historical preservation named after the mill before. Not too far away, like a mile to 2 miles away. It's where we do all our core beers. It's a mass production facility.
Nice.
Like I was saying, we got top of line everything there. So I started here, bounced there, and then that became the core beer facility, core brand facility. And this Snow Tire, the original location, became the Curious and the Specialty Brands location. So the barrel aging, classical styles, one-offs. I came over here to help out. I was the package lead here. We all train each other. Me, the cellar person, and the brewer, all shared roles, and that's still going on today. They still push out 5 or so brands a month that are fun, new styles you can't really find common. Like, especially for us, you got to come to the brewery to get it. Luckily, we're getting some of those in Tennessee. So
nice.
Yeah, so sorry to rant on that, but from production to sales.
That's what we want. It's I hate that I can't make it to the brewery, especially right now, and you guys are sitting there and all the good beer you have. Michelle, we were literally like, you were in Nashville yesterday.
Yeah.
And we met up for beers, and you're like, well, I might do this from the tap room in Athens tomorrow because I'm going to be there. And she's like, and I'm going to hit up Asa as well. It's just, it's wild how all of us are based in Nashville, but yet we're doing this virtual podcast show. Mitch is in Chattanooga, and then you guys are in Georgia right now.
Yep.
So it's a good thing we have practice during COVID.
That's right.
True that. Cheers to that. Bibo 4-point super easy drinking beer, 4.8%, something like that. Really easy to drink to. Did I get that ABV right? I can't.
I think it's over 5%. I think it's 5.2.
5.2. Okay, got it. Super crispy, super easy to drink. Michelle is totally right. Mitch has been trying to get me on the Pilsner train for. Well, yeah, I guess it's been 3 years back when you were talking with us, Michelle, from Wiseacre, going through the gambit there and having all those beers. And we were talking about Pilsners, and Mitch was trying then, and he has succeeded because now I'm kind of getting more. I think my story leads a little bit more on the hoppy side first. So like Smith & Lentz for me.
Dry hopped Pilsner. Right.
Yeah, the dry hop Pilsners. That's kind of what got my forward because I'm a hop head. So getting me into that scene by introducing, some dry hops and stuff like that, kind of give it a hoppy profile. And then from there, I'm able to kind of dial it down a little bit. So something like Bibo is right up my alley. It's super crispy. It's super clean, cold. Love it. Didn't plan on drinking the whole can, but I'm already going that route right now.
The second I opened it and took a sip, I feel like I drank half of it. It's that easy to drink.
It's just very refreshing. It's such an easy drinker. You know how I love my Pilsners from my previous tenure with Wiseacre. But also really cool, another really great fact about this beer. Usually every year at the Craft Brewers Conference, they host a World Beer Cup. From all over the world, people can submit in. So we submitted in Bibo for the German Pilsner category, which was the third most submissions. And we came out with a bronze medal. And It was during the one that actually was held in Nashville. And so it was really, really fun to physically be celebrating with my team with a little medal. So I'm glad that it's getting the love that it deserves. We were kind of hoping for a win in GABF, but it's okay. Or not GABF, this year's Craft Brewers Conference out in Vegas. But it's okay. We still did it.
You can still flex an old medal.
Yeah.
Winning the German Pilsner at a World Beer Cup is a flex.
It really is. I mean,
absolutely.
Nod back to our previous episode that we did together. You can't hide behind your Pilsner. So it's still a massive flex, and we're really proud of it.
That's
a good
impressive
quote.
As hell. God.
Being able to hide behind the hops on it. You're right. I think that was mentioned, actually. It's because you can throw mistakes behind hops, right? And you can cover them up with hops. And if you make something hoppy enough, you can, and if something gets too bad, you can throw adjuncts in it and stuff like that. Pilsners are clean, right? Pilsners, they're fresh, they're clean, they're crispy. You screw up on a Pilsner, you're going to notice it really quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. It is a very hard style to perfect, but absolutely worth it. It's universal if you can really nail it down. So,
and part of the core beers too, right? Bibo's part of the core beer.
Yes, it is part of our core lineup, and it is year-round available in Nashville, both in package and draft.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of these.
In Chattanooga, I'm sorry. There you go.
It's fine.
Mitch.
I'm definitely gonna have to pick up a pack of these because I'm officially a first-time homeowner and got my first mower, so this will come in handy whenever.
Let's get the white New Balances out, Mitch.
How about
I know.
Since you and Asa have numbers now, let us make that your home warming present to you.
Ooh.
Fresh Bibo.
All right. I will gladly accept it and drink all of it. Hopefully not in one day. It's awesome.
You're right, Mitch. I drank that one completely. I've got one sip left, 2 sips. I think I'm gonna.
It's clean. It's got just enough dryness. It leaves me a little bit thirsty for the next sip, and it just invites you in, keeps you. It's very good. Yeah,
very good.
Super crushable at the same time.
Shout out Creature Comforts. Let's jump over to the next one. Let's just kind of keep the good times rolling and the beer flowing. So I think we're jumping into Tropicalia next. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the layout that we wanted to go. We consulted with the beer experts on the show here, and they said that was the next one we needed to go with.
Okay. Let's see.
Roll with the Tropicalia. So IPA, one of my favorite styles, if not probably my favorite style of beer, clocking in 6.5% ish ABV. This one is
6.6.
6.6. Okay. My first ever Creature Comforts beer was this one. So I'm partial to this. I love this one, and I don't think it was part of the core lineup originally.
Actually, it's a brand that really launched everything for us. So
really?
When you say that was your first Creature Comfort beer, that's most everyone's first Creature Comfort beer. The owners, met during their homebrewing days, had come up with a recipe for Tropicalia. We decided to figure out how to mass produce it. And for the first couple years of us producing this beer, we could not meet the demand that we were just, as soon as we would put it on a truck, people were buying it left and right. And so it is 60% of our overall business is Tropicalia. So This is definitely the flagship brand. It's the most well-known. It's the one who has gotten us to the point that we are currently at as a brewery.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
I kind of thought that I was jumping in late to the Creature Comforts game. I didn't know that this was the IPA, the beer that kind of helped launch the company. So that's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, that's one of the things I love about helping bring this brand to South Carolina and Tennessee is to help this be a gateway to people trying our brand. So that's your role, right, Michelle? When you jumped on with Creature Comforts, the goal was to launch Nashville, Chattanooga, Middle Tennessee, those surrounding areas, and that's what you're helping do right now, right?
Yes. So I started off just kind of getting things up and going in Nashville, just trying to see what the brand could do, trickling it down over to Chattanooga, now to Knoxville, and now he'll do the same process and maintain things with all of Tennessee and all of South Carolina. So my official title is area sales manager for Tennessee and South Carolina. But again, I have Asa, who's in Chattanooga, who's phenomenal, who's really crushing it down there. I have a wonderful rep named Brittany, who's crushing Knoxville for me, and a really awesome dude named Tim in Charleston. And potentially another rep in South Carolina is coming soon.
Gangbusters.
Busy. Yeah.
It's a lot of traveling.
Rolling like gangbusters. So Mitch pulled up Tropicalia on the screen. So 6.6% ABV. Citra hopped. Big fan of Citra. Expensive hop, but probably my favorite hop. Centennial hops. Galaxy. Galaxy is my second favorite hop. So I didn't think about this. I wasn't.
With you on that.
Yeah, I was looking at the hop profile earlier today on this one, and it really explains to me why I love Tropicalia so much, because it's got two of my favorite hops mixed into a single IPA. So this one's great. It's juicy, but it's not dry, not hazy, not New England style. It's a good all around IPA, and I'm a big fan of this.
What I love to tell people, especially about this IPA, is that it is so unique for being an IPA that even non-IPA drinkers can really enjoy this beer. West Coast style, more tropical fruitiness up front. Even when people tell me that they're not into IPAs, when I'm trying to get them to try it, I just go, please just try it. You would be surprised. Because I'm not much of an IPA person. I love to drink Tropicalia because it is not like your traditional IPA flavor. It's just very well balanced, and it doesn't make you feel overly full. Now, I will say, usually I have to cap myself about 2 because of ABV, but found that out the hard way.
Yeah, Tropicalia. I fail to remember exactly which year I had it for the first time, but I only ever heard good things about it, which led to my first purchase of it off the tap somewhere. And then it's kind of like when you recognize a model car for the first time and you see it on the street everywhere. That's how I kind of feel about Tropicalia. I had it one time and then I saw it everywhere. So I always have a good, solid choice wherever I go. So, it's one of those I've always appreciated seeing it because I know I'll enjoy that one, so.
Yeah, it's this brand. I mean, all of our brands are very important to us, but we do a sensory panel within our company. You must test into it. You must maintain a certain percentage or average to stay on the sensory panel. But every batch of our beers, especially with Tropicalia, they are put through the panel test almost 3 times a week, right? Yeah. And we are making sure that it stays consistent with every single flavor profile that's supposed to have. And basically, if one person comes back and says, "No, this is not what it's supposed to taste like," we don't send it.
Huh.
And I wonder if that plays into this. I was going to save this probably towards the end, but this might be a good time to talk about this since we're drinking it. But I wonder if that plays to the whole the desire to find Tropicalia, because we were talking about this yesterday, Michelle. There's a Marvel cinematic universe play in here with Tropicalia.
Yes,
and
there is.
just people on set wanting to
facility to see the box that was signed by everybody. So,
nice.
But
Tell
yeah, we do have Marvel movie connections with this brand. It kind of joke. I think Chris Herron thought it was a spam email. Chris Herron's our CEO of Creature. But when they were filming the Avengers Endgame, as you know, most of us nerds know, it was filmed in the Atlanta area, and they were actually, it was Chris Hemsworth that said, if I have to play this bigger version of my character, then I want a damn good craft beer to go with it, because Americans do craft beer really well. Australians don't. And so they had found Tropicalia, loved it so much, they were basically chasing our distributor's truck into delivery, like when they would go put the product into grocery stores or liquor stores and just buying it. And so when we got that notification that they wanted to feature in the movie, we kind of were all like, there's no way. And you don't want us to pay for it? Like, come on. well, you just like it. You're just a big fan, huge fans. So that kind of segues into why we have our LA facility now. So we have the wonderful Russo brothers and several members of the cast members from the Avengers series that, invested in us because they believed in our product, and that's how we're in LA now. Actually, right next to the Russo brothers production facility.
It's underneath their office. So.
They joked when they were doing a little session like this at that tap room that they just want a line of Tropicalia directly, like there's an own tap for them to have. But it is super cool, actually. You should pull up a picture of your right now drinking Tropicalia.
So that was the every glass kind of thing.
Yeah, it was, and it was funny when I first started with them, of being such an avid follower of that movie series for so long that I had to go back and like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme and be like, oh my gosh, how did I miss it? It's right there. It's crazy. And it was really cool from what I have learned. We basically, the whole entire company like took the day and all went to the movies together and celebrated it. It was really, really cool. So that one, I think that third picture from the top. Yeah.
Yep, right there.
If you just type in fat.
It looks like the dude abides.
Yeah.
I always think about that movie whenever I see this scene right here. But yeah, he's drinking Tropicalia.
That's totally inspiration. Yes.
Yeah. And that wasn't the only Creature Comforts beer that was an Endgame. There was another one as well, I think. Wasn't he drinking some sort of a was it a sour or was it? I can't remember what he was drinking.
Yes, it was Athena, which is our Berliner Weiss.
Yeah.
Also, we took home bronze at GABF with that one last year. So shout out to our Berliner Weiss. It's crushing it. We'll definitely have to get that in y'all's hands sometime. I know we're not tasting it today, but I believe actually it was. I think I saw the picture of the Athena. It's kind of back when he's in. When he kind of he gives himself a glow up.
He shaves his beard.
Yeah,
and
he glows up.
There's also a shot where he's wearing an Athena shirt too.
No way.
He shows a lot.
Go for it.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
But shout out to him. I just went and saw Mad Max Furiosa, and he did a great job.
Nice.
It was
I
actually,
can't wait to see that one.
I mean, it's clearly a great movie, but
God, I hate him and his good looks. I hate Chris Hemsworth. Stupid good looking dude.
Yeah, you can attribute his good looks to the beer he drank. So
I do want to bring up a callback from our previous episode. The Fast and Furious series has ended. I told you it was never going to end, so I would like to stand corrected 3 years later. So on the record, that was a false statement. It did end, and every time you say family, it's just not going to happen.
Every time. I totally forgot about that. Oh, that's great. In fairness, we still have one more. I think in the 10th. I think they split the 10th one into 3 different parts. So you have one more movie. So you're not wrong yet.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love the yet part. So
yes,
we'll roll with that.
There's definitely one coming.
They made a trilogy off the last number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Fast and the Furious,
they gotta
man.
extend
Come
it
on.
as much as they can.
It's for family.
It's for family. It's for family. Hey, cheers to family.
That's cool.
Cheers
to family. Yeah, absolutely. This is cool. Not a lot of breweries have a connection into Hollywood like that, especially in Marvel Studios.
It is definitely something that literally was like seeing a shooting star. That's not very common, so it's been wonderful. We owe a lot of that to them, and hopefully that just helps progress us into nationwide distribution one of these days. So. But like Asa said, we're just mainly doing localized distribution in the LA area. We also, beautiful building, actually took many years to get it to be functioning for a brewery, but a lot of intelligent and wonderful people on our team made it happen. And getting to see it in person, I've only been able to see it one time, was truly mind-blowing. So I hope to go out there and help them sell some beer in LA. I think that would be a fun new challenge for me.
Yeah. That's such a cool place, but man, I wish the cost of living was a little less.
Well, we're kind of running into that in Nashville and Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
True.
I'm not living
So
in
overall,
LA.
guys, how do you think about Tropicalia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The second I opened the can, I was hit with that aroma. It's awesome.
Michelle definitely hit
very
those.
inviting.
Yeah.
Very smooth. Really great mixture of tropical fruit that you're getting. 6.8, but it doesn't really drink like a 6.8, which is wonderful yet dangerous for me in particular. Maybe not for you gentlemen. Y'all are more experienced probably, but
Yeah, experience. That's the term we're using.
yeah, we're gonna go with experienced.
It's not that I'm 3 times Michelle's size. It's that I'm more experienced. That's what I'm rolling with.
But yeah,
I love this.
For fans of yours, please try Tropicalia. It truly is a very wonderful IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this one's good. This one is it's definitely my favorite in the IPA series. But you guys brought out definitely a hazy IPA as well, and I got a chance to try that at my local watering hole probably a couple of weeks ago for the first time. And I don't know if maybe it was the day that I was having, or maybe it was the fact that I hadn't eaten, but that one hit me pretty hard. And it's not that much higher in terms of ABV. It might actually be lower. I can't remember.
You go from
Bigger
6.6
Dreams.
to 6.8.
6.6. Okay, so it's about on par. But Tropicalia is that's how I recognize Creature Comforts. It is and you're right, Michelle. Tropicalia is one of those IPAs that hopheads can like. People that aren't into IPAs can like that still because it's got that fruit forward aspect, but it's not like that stupid dank, peel your face off flavor when you drink it. But at the same time, it doesn't lean towards the hazy side, right? So it doesn't have that thick, dry, creamy feel to it. It's an all around well balanced IPA with a ton of fruit forward flavor, and it's got a mid 6 range alcohol to boot. So this one's awesome. Definitely my favorite. But Bigger Dreams is a pretty close follow-up.
It's about to be like Rich is the hophead. The next one's going to excite you, and I'm excited to talk about it.
What you got, Mitch? I'm sorry, I almost cut Mitch off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was waiting. It's funny. This definitely does feel like a well-balanced IPA, and that might be a bit controversial to some Belgians, but we had the honor of talking to St. Bernardus and several other people during that CBC in Nashville, and they were probably a good 60% of the time talking about balance with their beers. And Americans don't care really about balance on the majority of the beers that we make, like pastry stouts and IPAs and whatever. But this one, as far as IPAs go, I feel like it's an enjoyable ride no matter what, as long as you understand what an IPA is, and you're seeking that out. But it's weird. It's definitely, it's got just enough pininess, but a lot of that tropical kind of hit. It's delicious. So
it's very welcoming for somebody who, we talked about our gateway IPAs whenever we last spoke to each other.
Yes.
I literally tell people this could be their gateway IPA. I mean, still shout out to Bell's Two Hearted. I still love it. But I think if I had known about Tropicalia or Creature Comforts didn't exist when I started drinking beer back in the day, this would have definitely put the nail in the coffin for me to love IPAs. And so it's been really fun to get people who are hesitant to try an IPA style to really they'll be like, oh man, I can drink that. I go, yeah, that's great. So it's just all about the building blocks to get them to expand their palate. So
man,
cheers, Creature Comforts Tropicalia. Right
so
there.
solid, man.
I'm emptying my glass, so I'm drinking out of the can now.
I'm glad that you hit on the pininess, Mitchell, because that's why I love Trop. That piney, woodsy notes really pair well with the citrus notes. The piney notes coming from the Centennial, it does have some citrus value to it too. But Galaxy and Citra have a lot of that, and they made a great recipe with the combination of the woodsy yet fruity flavors that come from the hops. So balance is the key word, like you were saying. So
definitely,
yeah,
this one
will be drinkable.
Yep.
Yeah, this one will get you. I like the sneaky ABV. Yeah. It's so good.
2 now.
You can do 2 now.
It's time to go home.
Okay.
and have another one when I'm at home and safe.
Gotcha.
Yes, good call. I like the after drive beer. It's like
after
a
drive beer.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're unfortunately adults.
Yeah.
Like, we can't drink like we used to.
No.
We also have adult money, so we can go and do stuff if we want.
What is an age?
Yeah.
Let's jump over to the hazy side. So let's kick the ABV up just a little bit, not too much. Like Asa said, we're going from 6.6 to 6.8, so barely noticeable, negligible, but moving from the IPA, the regular IPA, kind of an American style, not too West Coast, not too American, but jumping over to the hazy kind of side. This does not drink to me. So this is Bigger Dreams Hazy IPA, 6.8% ABV. Does not necessarily drink like your typical New England style. Your New England styles are normally like drier. This is kind of more a little bit on the juicy side, but definitely hazy. Lighter in color. Yeah, definitely. Mitch has got it up on the page there right now. Fruit forward flavor, grapefruit and peach. Those are the two profiles that I picked out when I had this beer. But there's also other profiles like tangerine, grapefruit, nectarine, and apricots as well. So,
Crachiotomy.
And I'm just like, Ace and I just had to do the gentle reach over. Like, we love our Bigger Dreams.
Guys.
Cheers.
Cheers,
everybody. So this is good. Relatively new to the market, Michelle. Is that correct?
So yes. So we came out with this brand in the winter, early last year. You know, IPAs are not going anywhere. Hazies are not going anywhere. And it was something that we felt like we were needing to like fully round out our portfolio to say that we can make a great hazy that can be competitive with all the other wonderful hazies out there. And so we kept it in Georgia only for the first year. And within that year, so from the sales perspective, we get data called IRI data, which is basically pulled from massive chains like Kroger, Publix, convenience stores, where we get to see where dollar ranking wise we are making our money or how our brands are doing. And so within that year, just even Georgia alone, it became the fourth most grossing new item to come into the Georgia market. And, you know, when we approached our Tennessee and South Carolina folks about it, they're not going to say no to a hazy. It's a great way to make money because they know it sells. And so we just recently, within the past couple months, have been slowly introducing this brand into our markets here in Tennessee. It's been going phenomenally well, as I was hoping it would. So yeah, it's but it doesn't. I love it. I do not like hazies. I do not like hazy IPAs very often. Sometimes I feel like I'm chewing on them, and I don't want to chew on my beer, which is why I love this one so well, because it is very well balanced enough that and light, still kind of like, you know, silky drinking, that you just don't even really recognize that it's a hazy other than looking at it. So it's really a wonderful. They did a wonderful job. Asa, I'll let you get into specifics.
I thought Rich was about to get up and start walking here.
No, that's what I did, man. I was mad. I was upset. I was getting ready to leave. Yeah. The only thing that held me back was my hoodie got caught on the shirt, so I just decided to sit down instead of looking like an idiot.
Like he's about to come to the camera. And...
Oh, I mean, that's fine. We can meet up next week, Rich, if you want to fight me.
That's okay. Just bring the beer. That's all it takes.
A beer off.
A beer off, that's right.
The one thing I like to add about this beer that I love about this is drinkability is a big thing for Creature. We want it to be like approachable. It's like a sad fact of life that hoppy beers unfortunately age quicker than your sour beers, your stouts, and it's because of the hop flavor profiles and how they are affected by. From what I understand, the pH of the beer, and there's certain things that break it down over time. So if you notice on the bottom of all our cans, you'll see it. There'll be a date, and it'll be a package date and an expiration date, and it'll also have the batch code. huge on quality. But I will say what was cool about Bigger Dreams is when they were designing the recipe, they brewed the base beer for it. They had the grain bill they knew they wanted, and they put it into a bunch of little tanks, and they dry hopped all the little tanks separately and tasted that beer over time, so they could see how that one hop aged with the grain bill, the beer for probably for 2 or 3 months, and they mapped out when the sweet spot was. So like, okay, it's really singing from weeks 2 to 4. It's too green the first week, but at 2 to 4, it's really fruity. And they made like they described to me as a kaleidoscopic effect, where they like it's a blend of 5 or 6 hops. I don't know the exact number, but it's over 5, where each one is like equally represented, whereas in Tropicalia, Citra is honestly the big hop. The other ones do complement it well, but in Bigger Dreams, it's more of like a chorus singing together. And it ages really well in a sense where all these hops have different points during the aging period where they have like a high point. And so it ages really well for an IPA. Still within 3 to 4 months, I would say, for this one. But because with hoppy beverages, with hoppy beers, like freshness is a lot. So even with Tropicalia, I think like if you find it, or if you drink it within the first week, it's almost it's not too green, it's more green, and it finds its balance. And all IPAs over time, the hoppy profile falls down and the malt profile comes up, and there's a period where the balance is great. Well, at least with Tropicalia and Bigger Dreams, where the balance is like where you want it, and that's where we come in. We quality control. We make sure beer is fresh everywhere, especially with Tropicalia and Bigger Dreams because of all this.
So we typically ask for, our code date per se for our hoppy brands is 90 days. That's where we have found, and that is kind of traditional with other IPA brands, not just our own, but that's where we have coded. This is where we feel comfortable letting our fans experience this product or our product. And then usually when we're, as Ace and I being in sales, we're going in there and we're encouraging, like, especially for like package stores, we want it in the cooler if you have it available, because if there can be such a big difference between a cold stored beer versus a warm stored IPA beer. And then big thing about us too is that we're consistently, like, even when we're making visits to places that are carrying our product, we're coding all the dates, because we internally keep track of that to see, like, okay, should we maybe pivot to another brand if they're not moving through it fast enough, or maybe we need to have this discussion with rotation. It helps us teach our fans and people who want to carry our brand, like, the importance behind the quality and why we are so adamant about it. So it's really amazing. We want it to be so consistent that if you were here in Athens and you tasted the beer, and then you're in Chattanooga or in Nashville, it tastes like the same beer. I'm fairly confident right now, with both of you guys having Bigger Dreams in your hands, that we're drinking the same quality of beer. So
unsung heroes there, by the way. Like, consumer will never know. They'll just buy it, drink it, and go, hate it or love it.
I feel like that is changing significantly. Mainly, I have people now who I didn't realize, my friends that are now big beer people. They're like, oh, if it's out of date, I'm not buying it.
Yep.
Like,
oh, that's amazing.
Actively checking the dates on cans, which is truly amazing. Because originally, Mitch, you are correct. It was just like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just want to drink it. But I think now in the beer, especially the craft beer world, we have come to a certain knowledge point where, because of how popular it's been getting, that we are collectively, as fans of this amazing beer, just know that quality needs to be a key. And that's, the craft beer industry has been kind of in a decline this year. There's been still challenges coming out of COVID. There's still challenges even with the next generation coming up of people drinking. And so I think that's where, situations where we are still seeing wins is because we are caring about that quality. And where you're seeing other brands being lack on it, those unfortunately may not make it because people actually are caring now.
Yeah. And Mitch, you think
That's
back to the Main Street Liquor in Nashville, Tennessee. Shout out Aaron Horton.
Shout out Aaron.
Yeah.
Good people. You want to talk about a dude that's a stickler for quality and freshness.
That's why I love working with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's my boy. I love Aaron.
He gets it.
He truly does.
You're right. Yeah, that's exactly right. He gets it. And we even had Aaron on the show. We did an episode at Smokers Abbey. I think it was in the Gallatin location, Mitch, wasn't it? Or was it in the downtown Nashville location? Nashville. Yeah. And
Nice.
we were all sitting in the back, and Mitch had brought some IPAs that he kind of knew was a little past its prime, you know. So I mean, I'm not trying to put Mitch on blast by any means. Like, he knew it was, and they definitely.
I learned a hard lesson.
Yeah, they were definitely past. But the cool thing about that is that brought up conversation with Aaron, and, you know, and he's like, these reps are coming in, or these distributors, and they're dropping off the beer, and he's going like this. Like, he's looking at the bottom of the cans, and he was like, dude, this thing is, 120 days past, canning. Like, I don't want that. Get that out of here and bring me the good stuff. And he'll buy enough knowing where his consumer base is going to buy it, and that's it. He doesn't want them sitting for too long, because Michelle and Asa, if we're drinking a Bigger Dreams Hazy IPA that was canned 6 months ago, I'm not having the same experience. 8 months ago, I'm not having the same experience. You would definitely not be having an
actual IPA.
No.
You would be having like a sweet little dessert.
It would be more cloying. It would be sweeter. It wouldn't be as floral and fruity. It would.
Yep.
I mean, it may be fruity, but like dark fruits.
Yeah, but say you're gonna get more of like the prune, fig, like molasses almost taste with that. So like when you're picking up on those hints, especially with hoppier beers, that's where you got to go. When was this brewed and packaged?
And all that to say, that's not the experience you guys want with this IPA, or your other IPA.
Slowly,
right? So
you don't want long shelf life.
Yeah,
and I definitely found myself in the beer store the other day. I was stopping at my beer store. I was looking at Michelle, just as you said, I'm looking at the bottom of the cans. And I'm looking, and I'm like, I looked at beer, and I go, man, I remember when they brewed that one. And then I went, that was months ago. So I'm looking at now the bottom of every can. The guy comes up, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm checking the freshness on your cans. And he goes, well, do they all look old? And I'm like, yeah, they do. And I was like, I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to grab this one. And I was like, I'm not going to grab these 2 4-packs because they're IPAs, and they're 160 days plus past their can date. I was like, that's months beyond where you should be drinking something like that. And there are IPAs that you can drink in that range. These were not them. So it's interesting to have that conversation.
So sorry to almost interrupt you there, Mitch.
No.
Or Rich.
That's good.
Do y'all realize your names are very similar sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But from the sales side, even now being in the industry for the time period I have been, I mean, that's something that when you're, just as you were saying, Rich, when, going in and checking dates, when we are courting or being courted by potential distro partners, and we're going out there and we're scouting the market, the first thing we're doing is we're checking other brands within our portfolio, and we're checking to see, has it been rotated? Do they care about the date? Because we're so big on that. Like, we're actually kind of encouraging more of our wholesalers to be more adamant about date checking, because it complacency happens, but that's also where complacency gets us in trouble. And so it's been really fun to be the brand to shake it up and say, no, we want, this is a priority for us, and if we cannot sustain that, and if you're not able to sustain that with other brands within your the portfolio that you have, then maybe this isn't the right partnership for us to be part of. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're winning.
I mean, I kind of imagine it when it's like a grocery store. They're going to order as much milk as they know will sell before it expires, and that's been for decades. And with beer, it's kind of like it'll get there with. But have y'all ever been to Vermont? Y'all ever been to Stowe? Or anywhere in? Oh my gosh!
I wish, man. I wish.
Like I don't typically drink IPAs regularly. Like I love trying them, but as far as like drinking them throughout the day. But when you're in Vermont, you have like Hill Farmstead and Lawson's Finest and The Alchemist and Fiddlehead, and it goes on. What's crazy is there are these little tiny hole in the wall little shops that have beer, and I mean there could only be maybe a few thousand people in this town, but that guy understands the importance of quality, and he orders minimally to keep it within like a month or two of freshness, and that's like a hurdle, I guess.
I mean, that's a pivotal part of my role currently with Creature is managing the inventory with our wholesaler partners and making sure that we're not over ordering and that we're still meeting what we think the demand is, but also, you know, I've had to be real and say, I'm not going to give you 900 cases of Tropicalia. You don't need 900 cases. I can give you 300 because I know realistically this will move and meet the freshness date line that we want in place. And then that's just put it on another order, man. We got it. So it's been a lot of fun to help, you know, bring that educational aspect to our consumers and to our wholesaler partners, because again, Creature cares so deeply about it. And
I appreciate that attention to detail. Every time Mitch looks up at his monitor, I feel like he's about to pull something up on the screen. He's looking for something.
So I've been getting more and more into sake over the years, and I've kind of established a collection before I knew better. But the majority of sake technically should be stored in a refrigeration unit.
Okay. Actually,
And
I'll be honest, I didn't know that.
you know, for sure, any Nama versions, those are unpasteurized, need to be refrigerated, and those do get it typically, but you don't see a bunch of those, at least in the Southeast right now. But sake's on the rise, and we have local sake breweries coming up because just the South is good for growing rice, especially over in Arkansas. But it's a growing thing. Places are learning. I was impressed with Chattanooga. They have sake in the fridge, but it was only thanks to the guy who's distributing it saying, I require fridge space for this stuff. Otherwise, I'm not going to let you sell it. So
that's kind of what we're doing too, in all honesty, is just being like, this is what we need. And if you're unable to do that, then, I mean, all right, thank you, but we'll find somebody who can. So, and
shout out to Littman Distribution for they get behind the quality control aspect.
They are.
They understand, like, sure, I'd love to sell 8 cases to this location, but like, let's figure out what sells in a reasonable time to make sure the beer tastes good. So I
appreciate that very much.
The brand manager actually sent me an email not too long ago and was like, these are out of date, Michelle, or we need to do something about it. It was a Berliner Weiss. It was still fine. Honestly, it was still fine.
Yeah.
But when he called me, he goes, you have scared the crap out of me to have anything out of date. And I just go, then I did my job.
Good. Good on you. And that's what we want, because as consumers, as we're drinking these beers, you guys don't want the wrong impression of the beers. And if we're drinking something that's out of date and we don't necessarily know, some of us consumers are a little bit more mindful than others, but the average consumer is going to take a sip of that beer and it's going to go, oh, that tastes weird. And then they're just not going to go back to it. They're going to assign that mindset to a Creature Comforts beer that they had, and they were like, I'm just not going to go back. So it's extremely important to have that knowledge and say, okay, we're only going to have this beer for this amount of time in this. And Michelle, you're right. The whole freshness, the best by date, and the whole like canned on, and having that range of saying this is when it's best to be enjoyed is super important. IPAs definitely fall into that category. The fresher the better. Asa, I totally get it. The whole like, maybe a week or two after it's canned, it's greener, than it normally would be. And there's that kind of sweet spot as the time ages and it goes by, and you find that, and you could definitely hit that turning point too fast. Sours, I don't know much about that. This is Mitch is laughing at me right
we're
now.
gonna go move on to one here.
Yeah, that was my rough intro into talking about it, because I know nothing about and we may have even talked about this with Michelle a while back. I know we had this conversation yesterday, Michelle, when we were talking.
Good transition.
Yeah. We met up for beer. She ordered a sour. I ordered a crispy boy Pilsner.
You actually ordered a Wiseacre party color, because shout out to my boys at Wiseacre, still love them. But yeah, the waitress had switched it, and
they totally switched it.
He goes, "What is this?" And I go, "Oh yeah, that's mine."
In fairness, and this is the one we're getting into next, but this one was actually really tasty. I enjoyed it very much. It wasn't and I feel like Mitch and I joke about this all the time, that I always say, I don't like sours, I don't like sours, I don't like sours. And then I have it and I go, you know what? This isn't too bad. This one's actually really good.
There is only one you've absolutely hated, and that was the first one I ever shared with you.
Yep. And that was.
But to be fair, Mitch, did you go overboard on it? Because I could see you doing that.
It's a Flanders red.
Oh, yeah. Why would you do that?
Yeah. He totally. We were having a New Year's Eve party, and my definition of craft beer at the time was Blue Moon Shock Top and, Killian's Irish Red. And I thought I was drinking craft beer. And then Mitch was like, "Hey, have you tried this Embrace the Funk beer from Nashville, Tennessee?"
No, it's Embrace the Funk. So shout out to my boy Brandon.
Yeah,
shout out Rouge or something like that. Yeah, Dos Le Rouge, or
he knows
I don't
how to do those sours real well.
Yeah.
Even some of them, sometimes, as much as I love his brewing technique, I have to take my Tums and just pray a little bit.
Take your Tums.
But this is why I'm excited to get into this next one with you guys, is because I think that these styles are actually why you liked it so much, Rich, is because I like to call them, how we say our gateway IPA.
Mm-hmm.
This is our gateway sour.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. So this is the Tritonia Cucumber and Lime. It's a fruited goza, Creature Comforts. Super easy drinking, 4.5% ABV. Tart, slightly tart, not funky, which is what I like about this beer. Mm-hmm. This is more of like a hot beach, hanging out by the pool, easy drinking beer. Like it's only sour, quote unquote, due to like the lime aspect that comes in it, but it's definitely got notes of cucumber, a little bit of sea salt, but mostly lime forward, which is why I wasn't necessarily put off, Michelle, when we were drinking it. And I took a sip of it and I was like, whoa, you remember my face? I was like, I think we have the wrong beer switched. But I wasn't mad at it. This one's super good, super easy to drink. So I'm a big fan of this. I'm actually not too often do I pour sour into my glass.
On the nose, that lime. That tartness kind of comes up front. But again, what I love about the Ghost of Styles and Berliner Weisses, like our Athena, very similar, like tasting wise, is that it doesn't wreck your palate. Like the Flanders Red that Mitch gave you. These are very, very drinkable in the summertime. Or, usually these are when they're in their peak. I mean, I drink Tritonia year round, but this is my favorite thing that Creature makes. Literally one of my favorite things that Creature makes. So every time it comes out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I will run down and buy myself a 6-pack. So I was like, I have to have it. But, the spice on it, it's not too overwhelming. The sea salt's not too overwhelming. The tartness, again, just kind of hits you up front and then really mellows out towards the end of the palate. And it's 4.5%. So you can definitely crush a few of these. These make a great lawn beer if you're ever out there on a hot summer day. Also, I like to add tequila to mine every once in a while if I'm feeling cool.
That's a good idea. Add some tequila to something like this. Now you're speaking my language. Rich has entered the no spin zone. I'm ready now. Let's fucking go. I put some tequila in my. That's awesome, dude. I can totally get on board with that. Paradiso series, though. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did. You know it.
Oh my, you did nail it. Usually, we get a lot of very different variations. I'm going to shout out my Knoxville rep who is lurking here in the corner. She calls it Paradisco.
Hell yeah.
Paradisio. So,
Oh.
but she's from the holler. We love her. Y'all, I say things weird too, and I'm from South Carolina, so you know, to each their own. But yes, this Paradiso series is our fruited variant, pretty much of Athena. The only one that is different is a Tritonia. Because of the coriander and the sea salt, that's where we just kept it as a goza. But Athena, base Berliner that we make year round, we do fruit it. And like, what I love so much about the series that we rotate in is like, we do not skip out on the fruit whatsoever. So the first one right there in the series, the cranberry, raspberry, and cherry, is probably one of our most popular ones. People definitely flock to it. Tritonia was a year-round brand for us here in Georgia, but we felt that it should be plugged into this series. We felt that there was a home there for it. Now, the next one that is going to come out that I would love to try and coordinate with you both to get your hands on is going to be a new flavor from us. It is going to be watermelon and sea salt, and I'm very, very excited to try that.
Yeah.
Get on board with
Watermelon's very
watermelon.
hard in brewing, I would imagine. Is that right, Asa? I feel like that's a very tricky fruit to use. And then we're going to throw it completely 360 at the end of the year and give you Cocoa Bunny, which is a coconut milk porter. So,
Whoa.
Not part of the Paradiso series,
but
but
phenomenal coconut milk porters. We even occasionally do a double version of it. But yeah, these are really fun things that we do rotate into the Tennessee market. So please keep an eye out in the area. Usually they do about a quarter kind of time span before we switch it up. But yeah, what you got? So, Mitch,
Yeah.
what do you think about Tritonia? Because I saw you at Funk Fest, so I know you like
Yes.
your stuff.
I do. There's only been there was only one Funk Fest at the old Yazzie location where people were able to sort of share a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I had documented or untapped the ones I had that destroyed me, because I don't want to see them ever again. But I'll never know. But I love Gozas.
I do too. It took me a second to love them because I felt that they were. I even told Rich this on Tuesday. I was like, it was wet dog
Yeah.
at first, but it's like it grew on me, and then they kind of got a lot better. And then now I'm like, oh, I really love these.
Now, I'm trying to remember, is a Goza the same as a kettle sour?
no. So Athena is the base beer for this. Have y'all had Athena before?
Not me.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
We'll add that to your home.
So you can
present,
see Athena
but
right
y'all-
there. That's one of our core beers. We've been making 6-packs of that since the beginning. Honestly, the only other sour beer, and I'm going to say sour beer because sour beers can be lumped. It's just a broad description for a lot of different beers that have been made have been lumped into that style. And honestly, it's like it doesn't really kick you in the jaws. It's not so zippy. It's more acid forward, is the way I've heard it described. And all sour beers are acid forward, but when you think of the word sour, you think of like really like you just ate a lemon and you're
Kind of
like
like Warheads. Remember
Exactly.
It's
Warheads?
hurting the back
Yeah.
of your
So-
mouth, right? It's locking your
That's
jaw.
why I like the descriptor gently tart. So Athena has always been one of our core beers. Again, I remember when we opened up, at least here in Georgia, Westbrook's Goza was the only other really sour beer that was like all over.
I said that to Rich on Tuesday. Sorry.
I mean, it's like those are the only ones that were like mass producing it and making it not just bottle format. But Athena is a kettle sour. It is lactobacillus. You should see it on your can. It's also really cool. Across the street from us is a really historic venue called the 40 Watt. Bands like Smashing Pumpkins, The Killers, Dashboard Confession, Nirvana, they played there. They have a really like landmark marquee, and if you turn your can around, you'll see in the marquee of the Tritonia can, it says now featuring lactobacillus, and lactobacillus is the bacteria that we pitch to lower the acidity. Or lower the pH value, which increases the acidity of the beer. And so when they pitched the lactobacillus into the beer, I love it. So Athena is the base of this beer. So the Berliner Weiss, they pitch the lactobacillus. When it hits a certain pH value, they boil it off, and it's not too acidic. It's the right amount we want. Tritonia, they added coriander and sea salt to make it a goza, and then we added cucumber and lime to make it a fun goza. So that's the story of how Tritonia came about.
And I learned today that I know nothing about sour beers.
That's the fun part of this is the carbonation. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's definitely
this one's
it's super fun. I kind of was kicking and screaming like a toddler last year when they didn't know if they wanted to give it to me in Tennessee, and I said please do, and it was really successful. And so they were like, "Hey, you want it again?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So
I was going to ask that. Is this one of those beers that's successful in Nashville? And sounds like it is. Cucumber, sea salt.
So, Rich, has your opinions changed?
It's an ever evolving process, Michelle. I can say that I poured the entire can into my glass, and this is all I have left. So I feel like I am putting some work into this beer, and you guys should be
your research. You're doing your R&D. I love it.
I'm doing R&D in this beer right now. No, but I will say when Michelle and I met up and we were exchanging the beers, talking about what beers we were going to talk about on the show, and she was like, "Hey, I've got a Pilsner." I'm like, "Great." She said, "I got a couple of IPAs." I'm like, "Awesome." And then she's like, "And then I have this Goza beer," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, that's great. I'm excited about that because I can get on board with that. And she was like, I know you're, from history, you're not that big into sours, but try this one out. And that's when she ordered it, and I ordered a Pilsner. And then, like Michelle mentioned, the beer tender, the server had swapped our beers on accident, and I took a sip, and it just kind of took me back, not because it was sour and not because it was off-putting, but it wasn't the flavor that I was expecting. And I remember this, and I'll stand on this grave, Michelle, and I was like, you know what, though? This is not that bad. This is a good beer. It's an easy drinking beer. It's cucumber, it's sea salt for sure. I taste both of those flavor profiles right up front and all throughout the beer. The sourness only comes from the lime, which to me is more tart than sour. This is a beer that I could get on board with when it's 85, 90 degrees outside and I'm chilling in the pool. I would totally drink one of these beers. So big ups to you guys on this one, because this one's fucking awesome.
Well, my whole goal was to rattle you a little bit, Rich, and I'm glad that I won.
Mission accomplished.
Yes. And
also, add some tequila. It helps.
I want to hear. I want a report on that.
You don't like tequila, Mitch?
No, I like it. It. But he was all on board earlier, I want to hear.
And one of the many amazing, awesome things about Michelle, because I've known her for years, all the way back to her Wiseacre days, even to the Flying Saucer in Nashville, is that Michelle always goes above and beyond whenever she's taking care of people, and that includes today, because I got 2 of every beer that she gave me. So I have one more Tritonia Goza that I can pair.
I will manage better next time.
Hey, he got a bottle.
I was about to say, I knew
that's
he
true.
was something that you probably couldn't get. So,
Asa, your reputation definitely precedes you, because I know you and Mitch got to meet up the other day, and you guys got to talk. So, and he spoke nothing but great things about you. So, when Michelle mentioned that you were going to be joining us on the show, super excited. So
I appreciate it, man. That
big ups to you guys.
Well,
Mitch, what do you think of this one?
Yeah,
dude, it's very refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have it during warmth, but
for sure. I mean, traditionally, like, we do see the uptick around now until about the end of summer, then it kind of does trickle down. I do feel like it is a best enjoyed in hot weather for sure.
Yes.
Type of brew, but because I love it, I'll drink it year round. So.
I think it would pair well with food. I'm trying to think of all the different things I could pair with.
Asian food's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. It goes well. It's like white wine, but it has the botanical value with the cucumber and the lime. It like any kind of seafoodish thing or Asian food. I've enjoyed it with. So
I've got this is a good one to pair with all sorts. Yes, I want that experience next with it. I can't wait because I'm going to seek it out.
Me and you are going to get some ramen and Tropicalia soon. So
hell yeah,
we're going to figure out what pairs best with it.
And then Richard and I will get some like Thai san.
Let's fucking go! I'm ready, man. This is awesome.
I can't remember. But
we've
great Thai restaurant.
Yeah. So we've been kind of all over the spectrum today. We started out with a Pilsner. By the way, I think I had a different order in which I wanted to enjoy these beers, but going back through the way that we did these, the way Asa recommended we kind of swap this one and do these two, this was totally the right order to go. So thank you to both of you guys for those recommendations.
Thank y'all for trying them with us.
Yeah,
awesome.
no.
Absolutely. Start out with a Pilsner, Bibo Pilsner, super clean, refreshing German-style Pilsner that Mitch nailed it on the head exactly. And he was like, I popped it open, and then before I knew it, I felt like I was halfway into the beer already. Super correct, accurate, easy drinking. Moved on to the Tropicalia IPA. Shout out Marvel Cinematic Studios. Get the Chris Hemsworth in there. But that was my beer into Creature Comforts. The all-around, just best tasting IPA. It's super easy to drink, loads of flavor, Citra hops, Galaxy hops. It's amazing. And then we kind of switched over to stayed in the IPA category, but moved to the hazy series. And that one was great. That one, in my opinion, I'm a big hazy guy. But I appreciate a hazy IPA that's not too juicy. But it's not dry at the same time, because your traditional New England style IPAs are more on the dry side. But this is a hazy IPA that's not over the top juicy as well. So it stayed within that IPA category, but definitely kicked up the juice hops a little bit. And then Asia turned the tables on us and said, hey, we're going to go into a Goza now. But Gozas are growing on me, Michelle. I appreciate the flavor profile without being funky sour. So that's
well, last time we talked, Rich, it was I'm growing on Pilsners, and I'm just here to throw a different wrench in your direction, because I think I even said in the previous podcast we did together, your palate's ever evolving. So I like to test the boundaries.
Yeah. It's
that flying saucer trading never left me.
Nope. Can't take the flying saucer out of the lady, that's for sure, Mitch.
Exactly. And it's funny because I almost want to make a meme around a Taylor Swift quote in a song that says, "You wouldn't last a moment in the asylum where they raised me with a flying saucer."
For sure.
For all
Absolutely.
my flying saucer friends.
So we've been through the gamut today. You guys put us through 4 awesome, amazing beers. Creature Comfort is awesome every time we get a chance to experience it. Is there something coming for Creature Comforts, like in the Nashville area? Is the plan right now just slow expansion into Nashville and the areas? Do you guys plan on doing further distribution? Are you maybe opening up tap rooms in the future, or is it kind of focused on slow growth right now? This is kind of like you guys' opportunity to plug anything that's Creature Comforts related into the space on the internet.
Well, Rich, I have an answer for you for everything that you just asked, and it's yes. Yes, but I can't give you a timeline. So,
should I share the Curious collection on the website?
Yeah. Sure, yeah, please do. That's a really great one right now, especially because, again, we are very conscious of how we are growing. Mm-hmm. So we are relatively starting to send up these really fun, unique brands. Blake Tires. Oh my gosh. Everyone with weird names, but love him. He is a phenomenal brewer. Got started with Creature with us since day one. He's in charge of this Curious collection, so he does a lot of really wonderful collaborations. There might be one in the future with a Nashville brewery that I have lined up, so keep an eye out to hope that will happen. We love Carl and Isaiah.
I was actually going to mention this. You can see the bottom 4 you see right there. I was going to say, if y'all were here, y'all could have double dry hop trop with Nectaron.
Why would you do that to them?
And then you get the most expensive, it's only the most expensive hop in the market.
No way.
And you could also have Curious 18 and Curious 19, which are world-class barrel-aged stouts. One has amber wood in it, and the other one has mushrooms and maplewood, like world-class stuff.
So I'm making a statement right now as someone who, the person that manages this gentleman right here, you have to bring that to them. You just rub that in their face.
Well, we have a few special like double IPAs or
the Creature Ets, this that last one right there. This was very unique because it literally, we have a whole entire other brewing team that like we had to help train over in LA, but like very creative geniuses too. Like we're so blessed, but our teams came together with their IPA knowledge and created this wonderful IPA.
That was the first Creature on Creature collab.
Yep. Creature on Creature collabs.
But I'm pretty sure we can bring up a few of the special snow tire IPAs that you can't unfortunately find everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you will be able to find in Tennessee, but we'll bring some to y'all as a way of saying.
Don't worry, Rich. I will hook you up.
Now that I know what you like, Rich.
That's my homies, man, right there. That's my homies.
I look forward to a Creature Comforts Coast to Coast Space Ghost like thing at some point.
Honestly, we might.
You took it all the way back to Adult Swim, dude. That's wild.
So if you see that from us, just you get partial credit. Is there but yes, our intention is to hopefully maybe put a tap room in Tennessee eventually one of these days. I know that we have actively and still are actively planning that strategy as far as our growth plan. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, we're just focusing on making sure that the quality of our beer is sustainable. Our CEO wants to be around for 100 years. And how do we do that? With proper... Deanna! Oh, come here, Deanna. Well,
welcome.
Athens,
Hi guys.
Hey,
man.
Podcast. This is like a thing.
No, this is a podcast.
What's up, guys? I've never been on a podcast.
Cheers. What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
Yeah. What are we talking about here? Good
Well,
old beer.
Well, yeah, but we're also at the tail end, so
I had
that's
three
the fun
people
part.
today have Bibo their new favorite beer.
So that's always the fun part about being at the brewery is you never know who you're going to run into.
That's right.
Sorry for that, but Deanna's my homegirl. She was the first person to kind of get me on board with Creature when I first started, so she's my homie. But yes, back to what I was saying, that is definitely something that we are actively working on. But again, the freshness and the quality, as long as we can nail that down, the world's
Nashville. Hey, Michelle, Nashville's ready for you. But at the same time, we've seen too many breweries grow so fast that they're not able to keep up with the quality and production at the same time, and they either scale back or they ruin their image, and it's thumbs down for them. So definitely focus on the slow growth and keeping the quality. But whenever you guys are ready, Nashville's ready for you.
Well, let's just hope it's a little bit more affordable to come to Nashville. That's all. That's the only thing that's kind of the hurdle. But
that's true.
Don't get me wrong. We definitely we might want to show some love to our Eastern Tennessee folks. So that actually might be where we go.
Okay.
Again, cannot confirm or deny that it's not in
Yo, what's going on here? This somebody who's
I
your
couldn't
girl?
resist. Like, you go in the barrel room and you find one of these, and like, how do you guys not? Like, I got to show you guys what it's all about. Safety
Yeah.
first.
I thought it was safety third.
No, freshness second, but safety first.
That's right. Yep, that sounds
This is
about.
why I love Deanna.
This is awesome.
But Rich, Mitch, it truly is an honor to be back. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I love seeing you guys. Mitch, it was so great to see you at Funk Fest.
Yeah.
That I just had to give you some crap and be like, when are y'all going to invite me back? Because I'm working for an awesome new brewery that I know that we need to talk about. And Rich, it was such a pleasure to see you on Tuesday. And I hope that I actually live closer to you than you think. So we should meet up at Mr. Brews or something a little bit more often. But
I'm down.
just love how passionate you both are. thank you for what you're doing for the Nashville beer community and Tennessee beer community. And hopefully we have made a new friend with Asa.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, I promise you, please take him up because he has a storage unit full of rare stuff.
I heard about that, and that's crazy.
His girlfriend made him get it, so help him deplete that so he can save a little bit of money.
That's awesome.
So,
Michelle literally just did my outro for me. I couldn't do anything better than that. That's amazing. Mitch, beers, man. Fucking beers. It was awesome.
Man, this is it. It's always an honor.
Guys.
It's always awesome. I'm out of beer. I'll cheers with this.
Me too. I'll cheers my empty glass.
We're adults. We have to hydrate in between now. So
hydrating. Cheers, Michelle.
Yes.
Cheers to Asia. Mitch, cheers to you, my brother. And we'll
Cheers.
see you guys on the
Lisa,
next
come say
episode. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, y'all.